We all learn, Ta said kindly. At the docking bay, all his friends gathered to see him off. The scene would have been impossible just 6 months earlier. Voraxians and other species standing together, talking and laughing. G was the last to say goodbye. The Voraxian Council has asked me to tell you that you have honorary citizenship on our homeworld, she said. You'll always be welcome there. I'll visit someday, Ta promised. Your new assignment, be careful, G said, but don't be afraid to trust your instincts. They serve you well here. Ta looked at his friend, a 7-foot-tall purple alien with silver eyes and sharp teeth, who had become one of his closest friends. I'm not afraid anymore, he said truthfully. As his shuttle pulled away from the station, Ta looked out the window. Nexus 7 glowed like a jewel against the darkness of space. Somewhere in that massive structure, old enemies were becoming friends, and a new understanding was growing. His communicator beeped with a message from Ju. Remember, friendship is revolutionary. Tai smiled and typed back. And the most important thing in the galaxy. The shuttle jumped to hyperspace, carrying Ta toward his next adventure. He wasn't worried. He knew now that understanding could overcome fear, and that friendship could bridge even the widest gaps between different peoples. Your proposal. Construction begins tomorrow. Ta smiled. Soon, Level 42 would no longer exist as a separate Voraxian enclave. Instead, housing throughout the station would be open to all species, and Voraxian businesses would be welcomed in the main commercial areas. It wouldn't be easy. Centuries of fear wouldn't disappear overnight. But the first steps had been taken, and there was no going back. 6 months after the nutrient emergency, the station had changed in many ways. Level 42 no longer existed as a separate Voraxian area. The walls had been taken down, shops moved all over the station, and Voraxians now lived among all the other species. It hadn't been easy. Some people protested, others complained, and there were a few scary moments. But with Director Sun's support and many cultural events organized by Tai and G, things kept getting better. Tai was sitting in Suk's new restaurant on level 12. It was the first Voraxian business in the main shopping area of the station. Try this one, Suk said, giving Tai a sample of a new dish. Her restaurant was full of beings from many different species. They all wanted to try the food that had been hidden away for so long. Delicious, Ta said after tasting it. He looked around at the busy restaurant with pride. Many things had changed for the better. Mina now led a team of scientists from different species studying nutrition. Day's artwork hung in the station's main art gallery, and Hyun had started a successful trading group that helped all businesses on the station. Ji walked into the restaurant. She wore the special badge of her new job as the Voraxian representative on the station council. Diplomat Kim, she said formally, but with a smile. You are needed at the council chamber. The Galactic Commercial Alliance representatives have arrived. The trade agreement? Tai asked hopefully. Ji nodded, her silver eyes bright with happiness. The first direct Voraxian trading rights in 300 years. As they walked to the council chamber, Jay handed Ta her tablet. You should see this. On the screen was a post on Galactic Reddit from a Meridian trader, the same 4-armed alien who had warned Tai on his first visit to level 42. Today I shared a meal with Voraxians for the first time. I was wrong. We were all wrong. Sometimes it takes a human to teach the galaxy about humanity. Ta smiled as he handed the tablet back. So much had changed since that first day. Later that evening, Tai and Ji stood at the big window on the observation deck. Below them, ships from across the galaxy were arriving and leaving the station. I received a new job offer today, Ta said. They want me to help make friends with a newly found species on the edge of known space. Will you take it? Ji asked. I'm thinking about it. They are described as scary and unfriendly. The report calls them potentially dangerous. Jay laughed, her voice sounding like music. Of course you're thinking about it. I learned from the best, Ta said, bumping his shoulder against her arm, the highest part of her he could reach. Below them on the main walkway, a Voraxian family walked next to a group of Meridians. Their children ran ahead, playing together and laughing. Sometimes friendship is the most revolutionary thing in the galaxy, G said quietly. Tai nodded. And the most important. On his last day on the station, Tai attended a special dinner in his honor. Director Sun gave a speech thanking him for his work. Sometimes one person can change everything, she said. Diplomat Kim showed us that understanding is more powerful than fear. Everyone applauded, but Tai felt embarrassed by the attention. After dinner, Tai's friends gave him gifts to remember them by. Suk gave him recipes. Dae gave him a small sculpture. Hyun gave him a rare book about Voraxian history. When it was Ji's turn, she handed him a small silver object. This is a communicator linked directly to Moning, she explained. No matter where you go in the galaxy, we can stay in touch. Thank you, Ta said, truly touched by the gift. The next morning, Ta packed his bags. His shuttle would leave in 2 hours. As he was checking his room one last time, his door chimed. It was Hana, his old boss. I came to say goodbye, she said awkwardly. And to thank you. Thank me. Tai was surprised. You were right about the Voraxians, Hana admitted. I was wrong. I let fear guide my thinking instead of facts. In the days before the festival, Ta learned more about the purity of Space Group. Chief One showed him evidence of their activities. They've been working against the Voraxians for years, One explained. Spreading false stories, blocking trade, even threatening businesses that dealt with Voraxians. How did they get away with it for so long? Tai asked. One looked uncomfortable. Some station officials were sympathetic to their views. Director Sun has ordered a complete review of all staff. One said. Things are changing. The day of the festival arrived. Suk and other Voraxian cooks had worked hard preparing foods that would appeal to different species. Ta stood with Ji at the entrance to the main plaza, nervous about how many people would attend. No one will come, Jet whispered as the opening time approached. Then the first visitors arrived, a group of human diplomats led by Hana. She still looked uncomfortable, but she was there. More people followed. Meridian traders, station staff, families with children. Soon the plaza was full. I don't believe it, Jay said, watching as people tried Voraxian food, listened to Voraxian music, and talked with Voraxian artists. Believe it, Ta said. People just needed the chance to meet you. Later that week, Ta visited an old data archive with Mina. They found records showing how the isolation of the Voraxians had begun. Look at this, Mina said, showing Ta a document. After the Callan incident, the Galactic Council didn't actually order our isolation. They ordered appropriate protective measures until synthetic nutrients could be developed, which happened centuries ago, Ta noted. Yes, but by then, the separation was seen as normal. No one questioned it. Tay took the document to Director Sun. The Voraxian isolation was never supposed to be permanent. Director Sun studied the evidence. This changes everything. At the next council meeting, Director Sun announced a complete end to all restrictions on Voraxian movement and commerce. The original justification for these measures no longer exists, if it ever did. Not everyone was happy. Some residents protested, and a few incidents occurred. But with station security now enforcing equal protection, things slowly improved. One evening, Ta found Ji at the observation deck, looking out at the stars. What are you thinking about? He asked. 400 years, she said. 400 years of being feared, avoided, treated as dangerous. All because of one misunderstanding. I'm sorry, Ta said simply. Don't be. You're changing things. Ji turned to him. We received a message today from the Voraxian homeworld. They've been watching what's happening here. They want to send a diplomatic team to establish formal relations with the station. That's wonderful. It's the first step toward rejoining galactic society, Ji said. Something we've wanted for generations. On his way back to his quarters, Ta passed a mixed group of children playing together. Voraxian, human, Meridian, and others. They didn't see anything strange about being friends. That's how change happens, he thought, one relationship at a time. Later that night, he updated his galactic Reddit account with a new post, progress report. 1 month after the incident, he wrote about the cultural exchange, the historical discovery, and the coming Voraxian diplomatic mission. As he finished writing, a message notification appeared on his screen. It was from Director Sun. The council has approved. I was hoping you might help with that, Director Sun replied. The council is forming a committee to review our treatment of all minority species. We'd like you to serve on it, alongside a Voraxian representative. G would be perfect, Ta suggested. That evening, after his guests had returned to their homes, Tay received visitors from other parts of the station, people who had read his post and wanted to help. A Meridian trader brought rare medical supplies. For the Voraxians, he said awkwardly, I never knew they were suffering. A human chef offered to teach Sook how to prepare earth dishes for her restaurant. Might bring in more customers, he suggested. A security officer came with information. The Purity of Space Group has members in station security, she whispered. I kept quiet before, but not anymore. 2 days later, at the first meeting of the new committee, Jai officially thanked Ta in front of everyone. One person stood with us when others turned away, she said. One person was willing to see us as people, not monsters. Director Sun nodded. Sometimes it takes a crisis to reveal the truth, and sometimes it takes one person's courage to start change. As Ta looked around the table at representatives from 12 different species, he felt hopeful. The incident had been terrible, but perhaps something good could come from it. The Voraxians have lived in isolation too long, he said. It's time for that to end. 3 days after the emergency, Ta and G sat in the large conference room with other station leaders. Security Chief 1 stood at the front giving his report. The nutrient shipment was deliberately contaminated, he said firmly. We've arrested members of a group calling themselves Purity of Space. They wanted to cause an incident that would give them a reason to remove all Voraxians from the station. Tay and G looked at each other across the table. The emergency was over thanks to the quickly made nutrients, but the damage to relations between Voraxians and the rest of the station seemed permanent. Furthermore, one continued, our investigation found organized economic attacks against the Voraxian community going back years. Station Director Sun, a serious woman who usually stayed out of section problems, looked worried. We've also received over 10,000 messages supporting the Voraxians after Diplomat Kim's post on Galactic Reddit. Jay looked shocked. Support. It seems many station residents didn't know about your community's situation, Director Sun said. Diplomat Kim, the council asks for your help in creating a cultural exchange program. After the meeting, walking through the quiet halls of Level 42, Chi took Ta to a small museum he hadn't seen before. I want to show you something, she said, leading him to a display showing an ancient meeting between Voraxians and another species. This is the Callan incident, the first contact that started all the rumors. Ta looked carefully at the images, a diplomatic meeting that went wrong. Yes, a nutritional emergency much like what just happened, but there were no lab-made nutrients then, no understanding between species. Chi's voice was quiet. One mistake, 400 years ago, and we're still paying for it. Until now, Ta said confidently. Things can change. Why did you really come down here that first day? Jay asked suddenly. Tay thought for a moment. I grew up in a small town where we had exactly one family not of Korean descent. Everyone avoided them because of silly rumors. I was 8 when I finally went to play with their son and found out they were just people. Different, but just people trying to live their lives. He smiled at Jay. I guess I never forgot that lesson. The next day, Director Sun announced the new Cultural Exchange Initiative. Tai and G would lead it together. Our first event will be next week. Ta told G as they planned. A Voraxian food festival in the main plaza. Are you sure people will come? G asked doubtfully. They'll come, Ta promised. But G and the others. This is exactly what we feared. Reports say several Varaxians have gone crazy. 2 maintenance workers were attacked. Tay felt cold with fear. That doesn't make sense. I need to see for myself. Absolutely not. That's an order, Ta. He waited until the call ended, then hurried to level 42 anyway. What he found was terrible. Medical teams wearing protective suits were treating several Varaxians who lay shaking on the floor. Their normally shiny purple skin looked dull and gray. Security officers stood nearby with weapons ready. G. Ta called when he spotted her helping another Varaxian to a treatment area. She looked up, surprised but relieved to see him. Ta, you shouldn't be here. What happened? Our monthly nutrient shipment. Something was wrong with it. Either it failed or someone tampered with it. Without these nutrients, our hunger becomes hard to control. She looked away shamefully. The maintenance workers weren't attacked. Sook fell down near them, and they got scared and ran. A security officer walked over to them. Sir, you need to leave. We're keeping all Varaxians here until this is fixed. This is a medical emergency, not a security problem, Tay argued. These people need proper care, not to be locked up. Not my decision, sir. Tay's diplomatic training helped him now. Get me your boss. And called Medical Chief Yang. Tell her Earth's diplomatic office is asking for emergency production of synthetic nutrients for the Varaxians. The security officer hesitated, then made the call. 3 hours later, Ta had turned his own living quarters into a small hospital for G and several others who were most sick. The station security was still deciding what to do with the rest of the Varaxians. Why are you helping us? Minna asked in a weak voice from where she lay on his couch. Because you're my friends, Ta said simply. And because this is wrong. That evening, Ta wrote a clear, factual report about what happened and posted it on Galactic Reddit. He didn't know it would become the most viewed post that month. Varaxian medical emergency. The truth, his post began. He explained how the Varaxians depended on synthetic nutrients, how the bad shipment had made them sick rather than dangerous, and how the station was treating them unfairly. The next morning, Tai was called to Station Director Sun's office. Hana was already there, looking angry. Diplomat Kim, Director Sun said, "You disobeyed a direct order from your superior." "Yes, Director," Tai admitted. "You also allowed unauthorized aliens into the human living area." "Yes, Director. They needed medical help." "And you posted sensitive station information on a public network." "I posted the truth," Ta said firmly. Director Sun looked at him for a long moment. "Your post has received over 10,000 responses. Many people are questioning our treatment of the Varaxians." "Good," Ta said. "People should question it." "Ta," Hannah warned. Director Sun raised her hand. "Actually, I agree." Both Tai and Hannah looked surprised. Security Chief 1 has found evidence suggesting the nutrient shipment was deliberately contaminated. Director Sun explained, "We've arrested members of a hate group called Purity of Space. They wanted to cause an incident that would let them remove all Varaxians from the station." "Are the Varaxians being treated now?" Tai asked. "Yes. Medical Chief Yang has created enough emergency synthetic nutrients to treat everyone affected." Tay felt relieved. "And the quarantine? We're ending it today," Director Sun said. "But we have a bigger problem. This incident has shown how vulnerable the Varaxian community is." Back in his quarters, Tai checked on his patients. Ju was looking better, her skin starting to shine again. "The station will release everyone else soon," he told her. "Thanks to you," she said. "I just told the truth." Jay sat up slowly. "No one has stood up for us like that before." Later that day, as his Varaxian friends were feeling better, Tay received another call from Director Sun. "The Galactic Reddit post has now been shared over 1 million times," she said. "We're receiving messages from other stations and even planetary governments asking about our Varaxian policies." What will you tell them? Tai asked. Suk is a great cook. Not many non-Varaxians ever taste her food. Ji paused. Why are you really here, Ta? Because I don't judge others based on rumors, he answered honestly. And because keeping people apart hurts everyone. Ji looked at him for a long time, then smiled, showing very sharp teeth. Would you like to meet some friends of mine? Over the next few weeks, Ta met Ji's friends. Mina, a Varaxian scientist, Hyun, who sold goods, and Da, an artist whose art was famous on their home planet, but unknown elsewhere because of fear. One evening, while they shared drinks in Ji's home, Hyun explained their problems. Being kept apart hurts us with money too, he said. We pay 3 times more for basic things because few traders will deal with us directly. That's terrible, Ta said. Have you told the station leaders? The Varaxians looked at each other with sad expressions. Who would listen to us? Dai asked. Tae thought about this as he walked around the market with Ji the next day. The Varaxian area was full of beautiful things, but few customers. How do you get the materials for your crafts? Tai asked, touching a soft fabric at one stall. The seller, an older Varaxian woman, sighed. We must buy through middlemen. They charge us too much, then we must charge high prices for our goods. Then few people buy. Tae bought the fabric, paying the high price without complaint. The woman's surprise was clear. That night, Tae invited Ji to his quarters for an earth meal. She was the first Varaxian to ever visit the human living area. Your people eat strange things, Ji said, poking at the noodles Tae had made. Try it, he encouraged. Cultural exchange works both ways. She carefully took a bite, then her silver eyes widened. This is interesting. Tai laughed. That's diplomat speak for, I don't like it, but don't want to be rude. Ji smiled, those sharp teeth now seeming less frightening to Ta. Perhaps. After dinner, they sat talking about their worlds. Jai explained more about Varaxian biology. Our need for the special compounds makes other species fear us, she said. Long ago, there was a terrible misunderstanding with another species. They thought we were trying to eat them, when we were just drawn to the compounds in their bodies. Like how humans might smell food cooking and feel hungry, Ta suggested. Yes, but more basic to our survival, Ji said. Without the compounds, we get sick. That's why the synthetic version is so important. When is your next shipment due? Tai asked. 10 days from now. We're always nervous until it arrives. The next day, Tai took a bold step. He invited Ji to the weekly diplomatic gathering. When they walked in together, the room went silent. Hana's face showed shock, then anger. Other diplomats moved away, creating an empty space around them. Perhaps this was a mistake, Jay whispered. No, Ta said firmly. It's time for change. He led her to the food table and loudly asked the server for 2 drinks. Slowly, one brave diplomat approached. I'm Jun from the Mars colony, he said, extending his hand to Jay. I've never met a Varaxian before. Jay carefully shook his hand. There's a first time for everything. By the end of the evening, 5 diplomats had spoken with Jai. It wasn't many, but it was a start. As weeks passed, Ta met more Varaxians. They opened up to him about their lives, their hopes, and their struggles. He learned that young Varaxians were taught strict control from childhood to ensure they never harmed other species. He discovered their rich art, music, and literature that no one outside their community had experienced. And through Tai, some braver station residents began to visit Level 42. Not many, but enough to begin changing minds. You've started something, Ji told him one evening as they watched a mixed group of Varaxians and other species sharing a meal at Suk's restaurant. I just opened a door, Ta said. People have to choose to walk through it. Ji's hand briefly touched his, her first voluntary contact. Some doors need someone brave enough to open them first. Tae woke up suddenly at 3 o'clock in the morning. An emergency alert was beeping on his communication device. Medical situation, level 42. All non-emergency personnel restricted from entry. His heart raced as he jumped out of bed and quickly put on his clothes. He was halfway to the door when Hannah called. "Don't even think about it," she warned, her face looking serious on the screen. One night, Ty was woken by an emergency alert. Medical situation, level 42. All non-emergency personnel stay away. Despite orders not to go, Ty went to level 42 and found chaos. Medical teams in protective gear were treating several Varaxians who lay shaking on the ground, their normally shiny skin dull and gray. Security officers stood with weapons ready. He found G helping another Varaxian to a treatment area. She told him their monthly nutrient shipment had been contaminated. Without it, their hunger became hard to control. Contrary to rumors, no one had been attacked. A Varaxian had collapsed near maintenance workers who panicked. Using his diplomatic position, Ty arranged for emergency production of synthetic nutrients and even turned his own quarters into a treatment center for G and several others. Later, it was discovered that a hate group had deliberately contaminated the nutrient shipment, hoping to create an incident that would get the Varaxians kicked off the station. After Ty posted about the situation on Galactic Reddit, thousands of messages of support came in for the Varaxians. Many station residents had never known their true situation. 6 months later, level 42 was no longer separated. Barriers were removed, shops moved throughout the station, and Varaxians lived among the general population. It hadn't been easy, but with help from the station director and cultural events organized by Ty and G, things improved. Suk opened a restaurant in the main commercial district. Mina led a research team. Day's artwork hung in the main gallery. One evening, standing at the observation deck watching ships come and go, Tay told G about his new diplomatic assignment, helping establish relations with another, potentially hazardous species. "Of course you're considering it," Jai laughed. Below them, Varaxian and other alien children played together in the concourse. "Sometimes friendship is the most revolutionary act in the galaxy," G said softly. Tay nodded. "And the most important." Hannah, the senior Earth diplomat, almost choked on her coffee when Tay told her about meeting Jai. "You did what?" she spluttered. "Ta, the Varaxians are dangerous. There's a reason they're kept separate." "Based on what evidence?" Tay asked calmly. "Have you ever actually talked to one?" Hannah didn't answer, which told Tay everything he needed to know. The next day, G was waiting for Ty at the border between level 41 and 42. She looked different in normal clothes, flowing fabrics that caught the light as she moved. "I thought we might start with food," she said. "Are you hungry?" Ty nodded, trying to hide how nervous he felt. Eating with the so-called hungry aliens would shock his human colleagues. The restaurant was small but nice. When Ty walked in, all the Varaxians went quiet and stared. A server came over carefully. "G, are you sure?" The server asked in the Varaxian language, which Tay's translator changed to English. "He is my guest, Suk," G said firmly. After they sat down, Jai ordered for both of them. While waiting, Tay took a deep breath. "May I ask about the rumors?" G's face became guarded. "Which ones? That we eat other thinking beings? That we control minds? Or that we drain life energy by touching?" "All false. The first one is partly true," Jai explained. "Varaxians need certain chemicals found in many thinking species. Long ago, before space travel, our ancestors hunted other species. But for over 1,000 years, we've made these chemicals in labs." Their food arrived. A good-smelling stew for Ty, and for Jai, a bowl of glowing blue crystals. "This," she pointed to her bowl, "is our lab-made food. Completely safe for others, completely boring to eat." Ty tried his stew. "This is amazing." Ty woke to the sound of his alarm and the fake sunrise in his room on Nexus 7 space station. He had been Earth's junior diplomat here for 6 months, but still felt new. He checked his schedule and smiled when he saw his afternoon was free. This was his chance to visit Level 42, the place everyone warned him about. After his morning meetings finished, Tai took the transport tube down to Level 42. The change was clear right away. The bright hallways became dimmer, and fewer people walked around. Those he passed looked at him strangely. "You're lost, human," said a four-armed alien trader, crossing all arms disapprovingly. "Level 42 is not for your kind." Tai smiled politely. "Just exploring." Diplomatic curiosity. The alien's eye stalks shook. "Your funeral." This warning only made Tai more curious. When he arrived, he found not the scary place he heard about, but a lively market with beautiful purple and blue designs everywhere. The Varaxians themselves surprised him. Tall, elegant women with shimmering skin in shades of purple and blue, moving gracefully despite their height. Tai was so busy looking that he walked right into one of them. "Sorry," he said, stepping back and looking up at glowing silver eyes. "A human here." Her voice sounded strange, like many voices speaking together. She wore what looked like an official uniform. "Are you lost?" "No, I'm Ta Kim, junior diplomat from Earth. I wanted to see all parts of the station." She looked at him carefully. "Even the parts you're warned against." "Especially those parts," Ta said with a smile. Her mouth almost smiled back. "I am Jai, cultural liaison for the Varaxian Enclave." "Nice to meet you, Jai. Would you show me around sometime?" Officially, as a diplomatic exchange. Several nearby Varaxians stopped to stare. A tall alien man hurried his children past, looking afraid. Ji tilted her head. "You are either very brave or very foolish, human Ta." "Maybe a bit of both. Tomorrow, perhaps." After thinking for a moment, she nodded. "Tomorrow." As Ta walked away, he heard people start to whisper behind him. The next day, Ta met Ji at the entrance to Level 42. His boss Hana had warned him not to go, saying the Varaxians were dangerous, but Ta didn't believe rumors without proof. Ji wore regular clothes today that shimmered when she moved. "I thought we might start with food," she said. "Are you hungry?" Ta nodded, trying not to show he was nervous. The idea of eating with the supposedly hungry aliens would make his colleagues worry. The restaurant was small but nice. When Ta walked in, all the Varaxians went quiet. A server came over carefully. "Ji, are you sure?" The server asked in their language, which Ta's translator understood. "He is my guest. Suk," Ji said firmly. After they sat down, Jai ordered for both of them. While waiting, Tai asked about the rumors. "May I ask about the rumors?" Jai looked guarded. "Which ones? That we eat other thinking beings, that we control minds, or that we drain life force by touching?" "All false. The first is partly true," Jai explained. "Varaxians need certain chemicals found in many thinking species. Long ago, before space travel, our ancestors hunted. But for over 1,000 years, we've made these chemicals artificially." Their food arrived. A nice-smelling stew for Ta, and for Jai, a bowl of glowing blue crystals. "This," she pointed to her meal, "is our artificial food. Completely ethical, completely boring to eat." Ta tried his stew. "This is amazing." Suk is a master chef. Few non-Varaxians ever taste her cooking. Jai paused. "Why are you really here, Ta?" "Because I don't judge others based on rumors," he answered honestly. "And because keeping people apart hurts everyone." Jai studied him, then smiled, showing teeth that were indeed very sharp. "Would you like to meet some friends of mine?" Over the next few weeks, Ta met Ji's circle. Mina, a Varaxian scientist. Hyun, a merchant. And Da, an artist whose sculptures were famous on their homeworld, but unknown elsewhere because of prejudice. "Being isolated hurts us financially too," Hyun explained one evening.